today with Chef Daniel Boulud here at Flipboard. Welcome.
Thank you.
So how did you get your start as a chef?
That was quite a while ago. In Lyon, in my hometown, I was 14 years old and I had the chance to start in one of the best restaurants in Lyon. It was a two-star restaurant, 2-star Michelin in France mean really a great restaurant, one of the top best restaurants in the city. And we were maybe 7 apprentices, and being one of the latest to come when I started, I kind of got involved doing everybody else's mess. That's what they let you do.
Yeah.
But you learn a lot out of it.
So what is special about the way the French approach food?
Well, I think food is about ingredient, first and foremost. After that, it's, of course, you personalize the application of it. And French, they are really concerned, or I mean, for what I know, food starts with the market, the farmer's market, or les halles in France. And for what I remember when I was a young chef, it was a lot of things local, more local than imported. But still today, there's a lot of that. And I think food, of course, it don't matter if you have a restaurant which is expensive or a restaurant which is affordable. The perfect ingredient is the most important thing to start with.
And is that still the case in France? Has that changed with time?
I think it's the case in America now, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Because it has really kept growing. I mean, it has grown to have amazing ingredients. And any European coming here, they fall in love with the farmer's market. They fall in love with the amount of beautiful ingredients we can get. And I think in France it's still the case for the one who want to take the pain to go to the farmer's market, to go to Les Halles and buy the best of the best. But what's unique about Lyon and what's unique about France, I think, is just, and you see it today in America with cheese, for example. They have their own, and they also do a lot of Italian, French, Spanish style, and which is very interesting. In France, we often have only one kind of cheese. Hard to find Italian cheese unless we're near the border,
right?
Or Spanish cheese.
I know you have a very interesting system when you do set up restaurants in a city. You sort of have to source all of your purveyors. Can you talk a little bit about how you do that?
Well, yes. And so, for example, when you go to a city where there is already a community of chefs who is very active, usually we are all friends, so it's very easy to, you kind of make, you create a collection of contacts. You talk about, where do you buy your meat, lamb, beef, chicken, squab, and any other aspect of, the butcher versus farmer, and all that. And then the same with the vegetable, the same with the fishermen. But when you go to a city where there's no friends to help you to advance yourself a little bit on meeting some local suppliers, like I went to Beijing. Beijing was a real adventure because first I went to the fish market there and I could find live fish, I could find dry fish, I could find cured fish, and also frozen fish. But they didn't have the concept of fresh fish, freshly killed fish on ice, and all that. And that frightened me up a little bit. I was frightened a little bit. And also the meat market was a whole different way. The way they cut the meat. They import meat now more from Australia and from New Zealand, and they get a lot of meat also from America. And so it helped a little bit, and fish as well. But at the beginning, it was just like, what am I going to cook in this country? Because if I'm cooking Chinese, maybe I'm going to be okay, but I cannot just cook with Chinese ingredients.
Right, so how did you adapt?
We went one-on-one, each ingredient. One time we asked a farmer, he said, oh, we talked about frog legs to a farmer there, and he said, oh yeah, I have frog legs. So he brought the frog legs, but he brought them in a plastic bag, and they were live, and they were all size. And we said, no, we show him pictures, we show him how to prepare them, and we show him pictures of how the frog leg should be cleaned, and and the size we wanted, how they were going to come in a stick of wood. And today we have wonderful frog legs in Beijing.
Do you keep up with trends in the industry, and if so, how?
Yeah, no, I of course I keep up with trends, but I don't adopt every trend. Mm-hmm. And we are aware of trends. We don't feel it always fit what we wish to do, and it's not. I mean, depends the trends. You know, I mean, like there was a trend where everybody served you vegetable in a dirt pot made with, you know, edible dirt and the vegetable inside.
Right.
And I'm like, you know, who's gonna bring me again one more vegetable with dirt? and that's not something I want to care to do.
Right.
But it was definitely entertaining for whoever started that trend. Like I think it was mostly Rene in Noma who started, and I think it inspired many chefs to do that.
Do you care much about sustainability? And
Of course. I mean, being born and raised on the farm, we lived every day with 90% or 95% of everything we made ourselves. And everything was a self-recyclable process. We just started in New York a program of a chicken farm in Pennsylvania where all my quality waste of vegetable, from, you know, carrot tops to peels to the trimmings of vegetable, we give that to the chicken. And for the first time 2 weeks ago we started to have the first chicken, and it's basically I buy quality vegetable and I make quality waste, and it goes to the chicken and the chicken come back to me, so it's a little bit like home.
Fantastic. What is the impact of technology on cooking?
Well, I think technology has done a lot. First, there is the technology in terms of application in cooking, and that, I mean, from induction to, of course, high precision in temperature, in controlling temperature, in controlling curb to cook something, and in having a clear precision on the inside of what you are cooking, at what temperature it is and what is happening to the meat. And the evolution, I mean, we have seen the modernist cuisine, for example, who has done, has, I think, opened up even further the understanding of the evolution in the kitchen and the equipment. But then there is also technology in terms of access to information. And sometimes there is a lot to take, but I think it's fantastic. Everybody today. My only concern is that it take away the charm of, or the old charm, I will say, of having a dream to go somewhere and to go some places, or to go and eat some food which you never had and you only heard of and you only read about it, but you never really saw it. And you make a journey to go and discover that. I think that today it's basically impossible. You are going to Tokyo, you are going anywhere to Paris, you're going to want to Google everything, you're going to want to know everything before you get there. And I think the effect of discovery is not the same.
Do you still cook yourself in your restaurants?
Yeah, sometimes. I don't cook from scratch, except I enjoy doing dishes where it takes me a whole day to make, and I do it for a purpose of maybe a wine tasting or a special gathering of friends. At the restaurant, Danielle, or any of my restaurants, I'm constantly with the chef, tasting the food, discussing the preparation. We sit down and discuss technique, we sit down and discuss composition, but I have also some administrative work to do during the day. But in general, I spend, I would say, 7 to 8 hours a day in the kitchen between lunch and dinner, which is not bad out of a 16-hour day.
What is Thanksgiving dinner like at your house?
Oh, I love to cook Thanksgiving. Of course, it's a turkey. In France, turkey is for Christmas. Here it's for Thanksgiving. And we have friends and family, and we make a big feast, and I really do it the American way. I love to make a wonderful bread stuffing stuff the turkey with the bread, the giblets, and the onion and chestnut and resin and what else do I put in my turkey? I have a long recipe. It's almost like a madhouse recipe of a wonderful bread stuffing. And then I do always something with sweet potato. And I like, for example, to make a sweet potato puree with banana. And I hate banana, but a little bit in that is very good. And with orange juice also and spice. It's delicious. And then we always do a pumpkin soup to start. And because I can have access to truffle, usually there's the beginning of the black truffle. So we always have a mashed salad or a salad with a black truffle. And of course there is cranberry chut, but I do more of a Cumberland sauce instead of a cranberry sauce, which I feel sometimes is not tasty enough. I prefer to use cranberry, but make a Cumberland sauce where you have a reduction of vinegar and honey, and you put orange zest and spice inside. So it really gives a little bit more of a yin-yang to the cranberry.
Are you recognized when you go in the restaurants, or are they?
That's a
friends of
problem.
yours? Yeah.
Last night I went to this wonderful Italian restaurant from the same owner as A16, SPQR, and it was fantastic. But I didn't have any reservation, and I called and said, "Do you have any rooms? I'm coming after a conference." And I walked in, and right away I could sit, and they were all gathering around. Oh,
Right.
Daniel Boulud is here.
Cool.
But I make them very comfortable. I mean, they know, as long as they don't force me to take too much, I appreciate a lot what they do.
Right. How do you stay thin and not?
I try to exercise. I try to not eat too much bread, not eat too much gluten. My daughter is gluten-free. She has, for me, I'm still tempted to eat bread, but I try to control that. I try to not drink too much alcohol also. And I try to keep a very healthy balance with my diet. And I think nutrition will be the next most important thing for people. Nutrition in fine dining will be more important. And I think because people want to keep going out, but they want to feel comfortable going out.
Right.
And not have to recuperate for 2 or 3 days at home after.
So what does that mean? Does that mean food will be getting healthier in restaurants?
Yeah, or maybe more indication of what you're eating. I think in a more nutritional value, I think it's important.
How about cookbooks? Do you have any favorites?
Well, there's many cookbooks coming out. I mean, my favorite right now is mine. And I think I'm touching really a lot of chefs appreciate what I did with the cookbook, especially the section of these old-fashioned dishes who nobody make anymore. And I mean, right now I just see it, and Daniel Patterson just had his cookbook. I'm looking forward to read. But otherwise, when I want to really study, I study old French cookbook. I have a collection of old French cookbook, and I keep buying them. And I go back to 1700s, 1800s, and just read them as pastime, but read them as just trying to reconnect sometime, or trying to be inspired by a combination of a preparation will sound very French, but I can adapt in New York.
And would you recommend the life of a restaurateur to someone?
If I think first, I think it's important to understand that it's about a lot of sacrifice, and that's why for me, for the last 20 years, I've been living very close to work, and now I live above the restaurant for the last 16 years, and I think it definitely changed everything for me. I don't have much commute for my home base, my office and my home base, and I think it helped in the quality of my life. But for a young chef who want to continue and succeed in the restaurant business, I think he will know that there is sacrifice. But if he learns with some of the best in the industry, I think he can really create something wonderful for himself.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for your time. It's wonderful to meet you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.